We know many of you across the country are caring for someone, a child, a parent, a loved one, or you work as a caregiver. On this National Caregivers Day, in the midst of a pandemic, it's even more important to recognize the risk, the sacrifice, and the love you put into keeping the vulnerable safe. Ross Lord has the story of how one caregiver is coping during these uncertain times.
It's a challenging time for Ann Alois. She's the caregiver for her husband, Bill.
You know, it just adds to the isolation. Being a caregiver, you're isolated already because people don't really understand the physical and emotional stress that you're under. But this adds another layer to it.
She's among millions of Canadians caring for loved ones with long-term health problems or disabilities in their homes. Often, caregivers do exhausting work that puts them at greater risk of medical problems. And new research in Ontario shows only half of family caregivers have a contingency plan for COVID-19.
One of the strategies that we recommend is expanding your circle of care, looking at who could step in and provide support if you needed to self-isolate and not provide the care that you would normally provide as a caregiver.
They're developing an online portal where people can look for or offer help with things like groceries and prescription pickup. Ann says she's less exhausted physically since Bill recovered from a series of ankle surgeries that left him immobile. Their biggest priority, she says, is the health of their children and grandchildren. As for their own health, they have a plan for one or the other to self-isolate in their home if needed. But that only goes so far when both have vulnerable immune systems.
It's a concern for both of us. If either of us gets it, and especially if we pass it to the other person, like, what happens if we both get it? Like, I can't even imagine.
Waiting out the pandemic with care. Ross Lord, Global News.
We will continue to consult with experts and try to answer your questions. You can send them to yourquestions@globalnews.ca. And on our website, you'll find a special page dedicated entirely to COVID-19. That's at globalnews.ca/coronavirus.